What is up, guys? Marcellus Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, here to educate you on health, fitness, social well-being, and this is episode 28. Yes, 28 of Time to Build. This series has gone on way longer than what I expected it to, but I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit more about that at the end of this video, explaining to you exactly how I plan to close it out. This will be the second to last episode, so the next episode, Time to Build, will be the end of it, but I'll talk to you guys more about that for those of you who haven't been with the channel since the beginning of the series, so you can kind of get caught up on what it was about, how it was supposed to end, what it was supposed to be, versus kind of what it's become. But to the topic of today's specific video, I finally got these in yesterday and I put them on my Instagram, and then a bunch of you guys asked me to actually do a little review over it, and since it's something that I'm like, okay, this actually could be a useful, informative video, I decided to do it, and that is reviewing these beautiful ASICS wrestling shoes. So for those of you who don't know, if you don't know this, then you just haven't been with the channel that long, but your boy squats and chucks. Chucks all day, calves no days. Anyway, long story short, a lot of people have the misconception, you know, whether you're involved in powerlifting or just trying to get your squat up, that you have to squat in squat shoes, that that's always going to be most optimal. That's not the case. A lot of people preach that, but it's simply not true. What you squat best in is really going to depend on you. In part, it can even depend on like your built and your leverages. It can also depend on like where you're strongest at, like if you're really strong with your quads, or if you like to sit back in your squat a little bit more, different things like that. But at the end of the day, the best way to find out what works best for you is to spend adequate time in both. And I don't just mean like, you know, a couple months at a time. I mean spend like a few months at a time squatting in flats, and then spend a few months at a time squatting in squat shoes and see what you like. For me, I used to squat and I always squatted in like, you know, like chucks and flats for the longest, and then I squatted in squat shoes for a couple of my meets. And I don't dislike squat shoes, but the ones I had, the Romaleos 2s, the heel was just too high for me personally. Like, I just didn't like the way it felt on my knees, and it doesn't allow me to kind of like squat in a way that's most natural for me. So if I ever went back to any type of squat shoe, it would probably be one with a slightly lower heel. But the point is, you have to try both and go from there and see. Now, I will say, if you're somebody where you wear squat shoes just because it helps you hit depth, meaning you can't hit depth without them because of poor ankle mobility, that is something you need to actually address and work on. Like, it's not good, guys, when people try to use like lifting gear to mask different problems that they have. Like, for example, if you have an extremely rounded back on the deadlift and you think putting a belt on is going to fix that or protect you from injury, it's not. Or if your knees are constantly collapsing on the squat and you think putting on knee sleeves or wraps is going to help you, it's not. And I'll actually like if I remember to, I'll leave links in the description down below over like, you know, the different lifting equipment that I've done reviews over, giving you like, you know, the pros, the cons, the facts, busting the myths about them, things like that, so you guys can have an understanding of how some of those things work. But the point is, don't use lifting equipment to like mask issues that you have. You're going to get the most benefit out of certain lifting equipment when you can already perform well without it. Meaning, you're going to get way more benefit from, you know, using a belt for deadlifts or squats and like bracing into it properly when you already know how to brace properly without it. You're going to get way more benefit from a belt as far as maintaining your position if you've already done like movement prep to maintain your position without it. So just want to make that clear, because I know a lot of you are probably going to ask already, like, oh, well, okay, that's cool, but why don't you use squat shoes? Like, that's the reason why. For me personally, I prefer flats. That may change in the future. After this meet prep, Brendan actually talked about possibly going with the squat shoe with a slightly lower heel than Romaleos and seeing how I do with that. But for right now, flats are the way that I go. Like I said, a lot of you asked me to do a review and kind of compare and contrast. Basically, the main difference between the ASICS and the chucks, other than the fact that, to me, chucks match way more things. You know, I'm wearing the black shirt, got the black chucks. If I was wearing a red shirt, wear the red chucks. If I was wearing a blue shirt, blue chucks. But ASICS are actually technically flatter than chucks and supposedly have a better grip. So I'm going to test it out, give you guys an honest review. Obviously, I'm not sponsored or getting paid by ASICS or Converse. I wish. So you know it's going to be a completely, you know, honest, objective review, as objective as possible. Obviously, it's still my personal opinion, but anyway, we'll kind of go from there. I'm gonna take you guys to today's workout, or at least the top sets of it. You guys have already seen day one today, which is like, you know, heavy squats and deadlifts, so I'm not gonna like explain the whole workout. You guys already know what's up with that. Hopefully I'll be hitting a PR on deadlift today though, so you guys stay tuned for that. And then, like I said, at the very end, I'm gonna be explaining to you guys what I plan to do to end the Time to Build series. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. See you guys at the gym. Alright guys, so you already know, Saturday here at POD, we got the homie Michael, homie Derek over there. We're about to do our mobility work, warm up, and then get right to it. So I will see you guys when we get to the top sets of squats and then the top set of deadlifts, and let you guys know how these ASICS shoes work out.
Alright guys, hopping in for a voiceover so I can talk to you about these ASICS wrestling shoes, as well as point out a couple of things just in relation to my squatting as a whole. So, getting right into it, there is not a whole lot to say as far as compare and contrast with the ASICS wrestling shoes compared to the Chucks, simply due to the fact that the ASICS wrestling shoes destroy the Chucks. They feel so much better to squat in than the Converse, and honestly, I'm not so much surprised because, like I said, Derek, Mark, as well as my coach Brendan all said that I was probably going to prefer them in general because they're a little bit flatter, but that's honestly just an understatement. Like, I went in a little bit biased in the sense that, you know, I'm used to Chucks, I'm comfortable with them, so even though I figured, yeah, the ASICS are probably going to be a little bit better, no, they were much better. The fact that they are as flat as they are, but also just have a much better grip, really allows me to twist my feet into the ground properly to really create that torsion that I want, which allows me to not only get tighter as far as my legs, but it allows me to really feel the ground through my 3 points of contact, my heel, my big toe, and my pinky toe, and just really allows me to make sure that when I'm sitting back properly, my foot is completely flat, and that when I'm pressing upwards, my foot once again stays completely flat. Granted, I've never really had any heel issues or ankle mobility issues, which is once again one of the reasons why I prefer to squat in flats anyway, but it just felt so much better, and honestly, that's really all there is to say about it. If you're someone where you're squatting in Chucks and Converse right now, I definitely suggest going to ASICS wrestling shoes, or at least trying them out, because in my opinion, they're definitely superior for both squats and the deadlifts, which you guys will also see some clips of me deadlifting in them as well. And then I actually kept the top set of deadlifts raw, so you guys can kind of just enjoy the little aspect of the PR with your boy. But aside from that, the second thing I want to just kind of like talk to you guys about is just my squat in general. So you guys know that I've only really been back to true competition low bar squatting for 3 weeks now. Just to catch you up a little bit, I had to take about 2 weeks off from squatting, and then went pretty much a month where I was just high bar squatting once a week, just to let the hip size I was dealing with heal and recover. Not that it ever kept me from squatting or deadlifting or doing any movements, but it was getting to the point where like the pain was really intense, and I didn't want to push it to the point where I was going to have a serious injury where I couldn't squat or deadlift properly. So took out my competition low bar squats for a while, as well as my sumo deadlift variations, which I was just doing for variation work. And now that we've been back on it for 3 weeks, it's pretty much trying to just build it back up and gradually start easing more intensity and volume back into it. So getting these shoes was actually perfect timing. But something else you guys are going to notice right now is you're seeing where that imprint is where my belt used to be, but I actually tightened it after my top set of 2 for my back down set. So you guys are going to notice that it's a little bit more explosive. Granted, I'm always sort of a slower squatter in general anyway, and that's why I go based off more of the consistency of my reps to gauge my RPE. But all in all, I also just noticed this time around that even when I was bracing, I just wasn't getting a whole lot out of my belt, and I just realized that, I actually need to tighten it. When I actually took the time to measure my waist later, I realized that it's actually down about between half an inch and a whole inch from the last time I measured it, which is funny because I still weigh a little bit more than the last time I measured it. But those of you who've been with the Time to Build series long enough know kind of how the body recomposition was going. I was, growing very gradually in areas such as my chest, back, arms, and legs, but my waist was pretty much staying about the same, and then at one point it started going down a little bit. So just had to make that adjustment, and it felt really good on the squats. It felt great on the deadlifts. It just made everything feel a lot tighter and more explosive. Definitely a little bit more uncomfortable, but it's nothing unbearable, and that's kind of the big thing with your belt, guys. You want it as tight as what you can manage so you can really brace against it, but you don't want to feel like it's completely crushing grip cages either. Or maybe in some cases you do kind of want to feel that, but you'll know the difference between unbearable, this is unhealthy, versus okay, I just have this as tight as what I can manage. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it for the review. That's pretty much the updates I wanted to give you guys as far as my squats. Go ahead and enjoy the rest of the video, enjoy the rest of the workout clips, and like I said, for those of you who want to hear pretty much how I'm going to be in the Time to Build series, just make sure you stay tuned to the end, and I will talk to you guys next time.
There you go. Nice.
There you go. Good.
Yep. Keep that back tight, Michael. Come on. Oh, yeah. Same thing. There we go. Boy,
here we go. Come on, aggressive. Let's get it. Come on. Let's go. Here we go. Come on. Let's go. Come on, pull it. Let's go. There we go. Come on. You got the second one. Let's get it. Pull it. Come on. Let's go. Get it. Let's go. There you go. Come on.
All right, guys. Back at the crib. Hope you guys enjoyed the workout footage as well as the review of the ASICS wrestling shoes in comparison to the Chucks from Converse, as well as just enjoyed the rest of the information that I gave you during the voiceover as the workout was going on. Now, before we kind of get into, like I said, what I plan on doing with this Time to Build series and kind of catching those of you up who haven't been around since the beginning of it on exactly what that was, I kind of want to talk about today's PR being the deadlift. And it's a lot of like mixed emotions about it. So the first thing, guys, is that I actually wasn't even supposed to work up to a double at RPE 8 today. I was actually supposed to work up to a double at RPE 7, just like I did last week. Next week was supposed to be a double at RPE 8, so I really shouldn't even have that much weight on the bar. With that being said, awesome PR. Literally 6 pounds less than my best in competition, and then 9 pounds less than just my best pull ever, because my best pull in the gym is 510 pounds. So to be able to pull 501 pounds for a double at RPE, like more, it was definitely more like 8.5 to 9, because I definitely knew I could have gotten one more, and then I maybe could have grinded out another one, so hence 8.5 to 9. Definitely wasn't the 8 that I wanted, but that's okay, because next week I'll probably just work with the same weight or something similar to it and actually do the true RPE 8 as I'm supposed to, because really, based upon that first rep, I should have been able to get it for an RPE 8, but with the second rep, I was already too much in my own head before I even started started the working set, because I was just thinking like, oh man, this is so close to like my old previous best, instead of thinking about the fact that, yo, there's only like 15 pounds more than what I did last week for a double at RPE 7. Like, this should be nothing. And even though 15 pounds can be quite a bit, on deadlift, it's just not quite as much as, 15 pounds added to like your bench or your squat, right? So I kind of in my own head, and then like I said, even though the first rep went well, on the second rep, I just wasn't aggressive enough. I didn't take the time to really make sure I pulled the slack out of the bar as much as I did on the first rep, which just makes a huge difference, as you guys already know. But all in all, still really happy with the pull. Appreciate my boys Derek and Mike for the hype as always. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to review that a little bit. So I'm probably doing that again next week. And then I'm just also really glad that the squats are just like feeling really good. It's unfortunate that it took me like to this point to realize that I had to tighten my belt once again, because those of you who have been on the channel long enough know that I've already done that like once or 2 times already. It's crazy how I've technically like actually gotten like a little bit thicker in other areas, like, my arms, my chest, my back, legs, glutes, hamstrings, but like my waist is like, it always kind of stays the same or goes down a little bit. So that's actually like really interesting. Of course, give or take, more carbs would bloat. That might feel even tighter than what it already does, but tightening that belt made everything feel like really good. So I'm just gonna keep it there for right now. Now, as for the Time to Build series, guys, so to catch you guys up, pretty much what it was a series I started back in the end of August after my last meet, and it was pretty much just, it was twofolds. One thing was to kind of like a way to track my progression during my lean mass phase, because I was lean bulking at that time, and it was also going to be leading into like my next meet that I was originally going to be doing in February, the Aggie Showdown, which those of you who've been with the channel long enough know that due to different circumstances I actually ended up not doing. But on top of that, it was also just a way for me to really focus on like topics related more so to like bulking and the best way to maximize muscle growth and the proper way to perform your exercises to really get the most bang for your buck as far as muscle growth. It was all about like, just building the body, right? But also I was incorporating a lot of like things in terms of like ways to build yourself up mentally, socially. It's just like time to build in general, like just build up myself as a person, help you guys do the same, right? But pretty much after like the Ag Show that didn't happen, I kept the series going just because it was a nice, enjoyable way to keep my workout related videos like kind of like grouped together, but I realized like soon like that I was gotten to the point where like, okay, I'm not really even just focusing on just topics relating quote unquote to building anymore. It's more so like I'm just doing like how my old workout videos used to be. They can pretty much be related to any informative topic that I wish to do, or I can voice them over with any informative topic that I wish to do. So I'm pretty much just gonna end it with this next upcoming episode. It's pretty much where I'm just gonna show you guys like a physique update, probably show you like my current measurements, show you like where I started and where I'm at now, because I'm really not even bulking at this point anymore. I'm kind of like just chilling, but I'll like explain to you guys like what my kind of caloric intake has been, and my macros, all that kind of good stuff, so that you guys can have an idea of where I'm at, like where I started and where I finished, and then kind of let you know what I plan on doing, like just going into the future. I'll probably be starting another like little mini series like as I get closer to my meet. I'm still 14 weeks out right now, but we'll talk more about that in the next video. But that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you did. If you did not, leave a comment down below letting me know what I can do to get better. Like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch y'all later.